Hi, this is David Voss, CCIE 11372, and in this video we're covering security policy and process. In this video you're going to learn about network security elements, and then we're going to dig a deep dive into security policies, including their purpose, the development of security policies, and the security policy lifecycle. So let's begin. To provide the proper levels of security and increase network availability, a security policy, is a crucial element in providing secure network services. It's an important concept to understand, not just for the CCDA exam, but to function in today's environments where security is so crucial. Business requirements and risk analysis are used in the development of security policy, and it is often a balance between ease of access versus the security risk and cost of implementing the security technology when making decisions. In terms of network security in the system life cycle, the business needs are a key area to consider. These needs define what the business wants to do with the network. Risk analysis is another part of the system life cycle which explains the risks and their costs. So business needs and risk assessment feed information to formulate the security policy. The security policy describes the organization's processes, procedures, guidelines, and standards. Finally, an organization's security team needs to have the processes and procedures defined. This information helps explain what needs to happen for incident response, security monitoring, maintenance, and compliance. As you can see here, the consideration is prefaced with a question, and then you can see what aspect of security preparation and policies and procedures can deal with that consideration. It's key that you memorize this chart for the CCDA exam. RFC 2196 says, a security policy is a formal statement of the rules by which people who are given access to an organization's technology and information assets must abide. So when you are developing security policies for an organization, RFC 2196 can serve as a guide for developing security processes and procedures. The basic approach of creating a security policy is to identify what you are trying to protect, determine what you're trying to protect it from, determine how likely the threats are, implement measures that protect your assets in a cost-effective manner, and then review the process continuously and make improvements each time a weakness is found. One of the main purposes of a security policy is to describe the roles and requirements for securing technology and information assets. The policy defines the ways in which these requirements will be met. There are two main reasons for having a security policy. First, it provides the framework for the security implementation, and then it creates a security baseline of the current security posture. Here are some questions you might ask when developing a security policy. What data and assets will be included in the policy? What network communication is permitted between hosts? How will policies be implemented? And how will the latest attacks impact your network and security systems? A security policy is divided into smaller parts that help describe the overall risk management policy, identification of assets, and where security should be applied. There are other documents which concentrate on specific areas of risk management. The acceptable use policy. This document defines the roles and responsibilities within risk management. Network access control policy defines access control principles used in the network and how data is classified. Security management policy explains how to manage the security infrastructure. And then incident handling policy defines the processes and procedures for managing security incidents. If you look at this chart and memorize it, you'll do excellent on this portion of your CCDA exam. As requirements change and new technology is developed, the network security policy needs to be updated to reflect those changes. So here are some steps that are used to facilitate the continuing efforts in the maintenance of security policies. Secure, monitor, test, and improve. Secure means identification, authentication, ACLs, VPNs. Monitor, intrusion, and content-based detection and response. Test is assessment, vulnerability scanning, and security auditing. And improve is for data analysis, reporting, and intelligent network security. Today's network designs demonstrate an increased use of security mechanisms and have become more tightly integrated with network design. Trust and identity management is a part of the safe security reference architecture and is crucial for the development of a secure network design. This management of trust and identity defines who and what can access the network, when, where, and how that access can occur. If you take a look at the following diagram, it shows the main three components of trust and identity management are trust, identity, and access control. So let's talk about each of these three. Trust is the relationship between two or more network entities that are permitted to communicate. Domains of trust are a way to group network systems that share a common policy or function. Network segments have different trust values depending on the resources they are securing. Therefore, domains of trust can be applied. These types of security controls can be applied to network segments, as it is important to consider the trust relationships between segments. Here's an example of domains of trust. You have your internet access edge, and then your DMZ, and then your internal network. Each of those are separate domains. Obviously, on the internal network, you just want the appropriate internal users. In the DMZ, you're allowing a blending of the two. And on the internet, obviously, you just are expecting for there only to be exterior users on that portion of the network. So how you apply security will greatly depend on the domain of trust you are trying to protect. Identity is the who of a trust relationship. These can be users, devices, or organizations, or a combination of all of the above. Network entities are validated by credentials, and authentication of the identity is based on the following attributes: something the subject knows, such as a password; something the subject has, such as a possession; and something the subject is, such as a human characteristic, fingerprint, retina scan, etc. The first two are the most likely and the most popular ways of securing something you know and something you have with you. Most companies are now expecting two-factor authentication. So here's what you've learned. You've learned about network security elements, and then we dug into security policies in detail, at least enough for you to know for your CCDA exam, digging into the purpose, development, and life cycle of security policies. If you know what's in this video, I'm confident you'll do well in this portion of the CCDA. Good luck in your studies.